Good afternoon. I just thought it important to let you know that what's coming in the not too distant future is another pandemic, and I don't mean another completely new one, other than the sense it'll be a second renamed influenza season. When we get back to the influenza season, which will be coming around in a matter of only a few months, we will be told by the government that it is an outbreak of another COVID-19, but the varied version that from overseas. And we'll be told that we got rid of the last one, and we can get rid of this one if we all realise that we're all in this. And moving forward, you'll hear all of those expressions used, but they will be retesting another whole series of lockdowns and etc. So we will be going through everything, and I repeat, everything that we went through in last year in 2020. We will be going through it again this flu season 2021, because all they are doing is stealing the normal influenza figures and relabeling it. Well, last year they called it ConJob-19. This year it's going to be called something else, but that's what they'll be doing. And last year it gave them the opportunity to bring in different laws and so on, that they can put army on the streets and check our papers and all the good Nazi communist extremists do, like border patrols and locking people in their houses and not treating them in the hospital, allowing them to die so that they can go through the normal, have the normal influenza death figures, and making out that it's all a new strain of the COVID-19, which I call ConJob-19, because that's what it was. It was a fraud. And if you think, oh, well, here's another conspiracy theorist, well, just do your own research and look up how it was that the United States put a bill, what we call a bill or an act, through Parliament for COVID-19 financial packages or relief packages for the whole country, and how they put it through the Senate a full year before the outbreak was even known, or the supposed outbreak was even known. The relief packages for COVID-19, yes, it was named and everything, went before the president then, Donald Trump, and he signed the relief packages. But if you look at the date on the act when it went into the Senate, you will see that it was January 2019. Pretty good trick for something that didn't exist until December 2019. Now, they're going to do the same thing again with this next flu season. Otherwise, how can they explain where they said that they got rid of the flu with our measures that we took, with wearing masks and social distancing and everything? We got rid of the flu, and we also got rid of the COVID-19. So that's why there wasn't a normal flu season alongside the COVID-19. We got rid of the flu and the COVID-19 at the same time. So now we're going to have a so-called third wave, but it'll be the modified, altered version of the so-called virus, and then they will claim that they have to go through all of these procedures again. Now, this will be to test their powers, their own illegal self-governed powers that are totally out of line with the Health and Wellbeing Act 2008 that they claim that they're governing us under, totally out of line with the Biosafety Act 2015, which both state that the healthy are to be left alone and only the proved sick can have an order issued against them a compliance order, which compels them to, among other things, be locked down, quarantined, or wear apparel. Well, I'd put it to you that a mask is an apparel. So they say in their own laws that it's illegal to force the healthy people to wear apparel or be locked down or have a curfew, that it only can apply to the proved sick with a compliance order issued to them in writing before they can actually take those sort of measures with police and etc. Now, and it also describes those measures to be applied to the individuals who are proved to be sick. So you can't say we declare everybody sick and everyone will have those measures applied against them. That's all totally illegal, but they're going to do it because most of you are going to be too stupid to get out of your own road, right? So I hope that doesn't insult some people, but most of the people are going to go through it all again, and we'll have the little jingles. We're all in this together and moving forward. That's a great one for the pro-communist Labour left and left extremists, such as the Democrats in the United States, who have taken over the United States, and all this catch cry and all that sort of stuff of we're all in this together, and you'd be selfish to fight against any of their measures, and you're totally selfish to not to have a mask on when we tell you to, and all that sort of stuff, even though they told us for months not to wear a mask, and it'd be stupid to wear a mask because they're totally ineffective, and don't wear a mask because it only causes neurological damage through breathing in your own carbon. Even though they went through months telling us not to wear a mask, somebody from 3M, I would imagine, tapped somebody on the shoulder and say, hang on, we want to make some money out of this too. So they brought in the masks. But communists love making everyone dress the same somehow. And of course the masks performed that task. So be prepared for it all to come again under a different banner, and then you have to decide, hang on a minute, what happened, what really happened to the influenza seasons that were normal to have 1,500 to 3,000 deaths per year in Australia, I'm talking, 18,000 hospitalisations and 300,000 doctor's visits. So ask yourself why we're going through all of this for an alleged new disease which replaced influenza and didn't even measure up to the normal influenza figures. Very interesting, don't you think? Think about it, people. All of these measures are to bring in what everyone's been talking about, including the politicians like George W. Bush, his father, and many other politicians in England, Australia, United States, even in Europe. The new world order, a single world governance, a single world currency, a single world religion, all form a new world order. But now we're seeing that all of these measures all smack of extreme left wing, and that's globally. So the nasty Nazis may have done a similar sort of thing in Germany and occupied countries, and the Russians did the same thing in their countries. So really we're seeing an extreme socialist type of governance coming in, and you can call it Nazi or you can call it communist, whatever you like, but it seems to be leaning to the extreme left, by the people who were bringing it in, such as the Labor Party, who took in all of the Communist Party when Robert Menzies made communism illegal in Australia. You may have forgotten that or not known it if you're too young to even have been born when that took place. You should have known it from history. Oh, that's right, you didn't get taught history at school. Sorry. Anyway, so be ready for the complete news string of it. Now, they want to bring this about again when the flu season starts again, because they have to still continue to get everybody tested. Now, the reason there are 2 tests and not one test is sufficient to find out if you have any sort of flu or influenza. Only one is necessary. The second one is bagged and sent off to the government DNA identification database. That's why they do the 2 tests. That's why they're insisting you get a test on the slightest sniffle or cough, because their goal is to have every Australian fully databased with DNA, facial recognition, phone apps, and every other form of identification, including electronic identification. They want everybody done, and their schedule is that it has to be done by December 2022. And that's not just a guess. I saw the trade document where they discussed the time frame in November 2019, that the time frame to do all of this was to be from December 2020 to December 2022. Now, monetarily across the world was scheduled for a worldwide monetary panic in December. Well, sorry, in 2019. It occurred in December. Now, my information also says that our economy is going to be picked away at and destroyed and kept in a panic all the way to a depression in 2023. That's why everything has to be in place by December 2022. Because during the depression, there's going to be a lot of crap happen, and it could also be the same year in which we go to war. It's very logical, because in previous depressions, we've been at war somewhere. World War II, the depression took place in 1942, and it happened again in 51, right on schedule, and we were in Korea. It happened again in 67. Where were we? Vietnam. It happened, so I know it's scheduled for December. For 2023. But if you look at the Tretch graph, if you can get a hold of a copy of it, you will be able to see every other depression, because all of the money markets, all of the world monetary system are on set cycles. So the panics and the good times and the depressions all occur precisely at the time that they're supposed to. And coincidentally, maybe not coincidentally, there's always been a serious war during the time of that depression, even in 1901, and again in 1916. Yeah, 16. There was a depression, a world monetary depression, and all sides in the war had to produce a austerity measured types of uniforms, helmets not being fully produced correctly and just being clipped off with no rolled edges, uniforms being modified so that they're thinner and lighter and lesser quality, etc., etc. You can check all of that yourself, look into the history, you will find that I'm correct. You can fact check everything I'm saying here, excepting you can deny what I'm saying is going to occur very soon They're leading up to it already by talking about a new strain coming in, and just one case of it coming into Australia, but we're on top of that. But they said that before the COVID-19. They only had one case of it, and we're on top of it. And then all of a sudden, you've got 750 people dead from what they said was COVID-19. And if you do your research, you'll find that everybody that died during that period of time, whether they were struck by a tram, if they had antibodies from having the flu in the past, they were labelled as having died from COVID-19. Wake up, people. You're going through it again. You're going to lose more and more of your liberties. They're going to tighten up their controlling laws more and more, and keep building on their infrastructure more and more. Facial recognition, CCTV footage cameras are going to flood the streets like you wouldn't believe. You may have not even noticed them these days. But if after all of this previous nonsense with ConJob-19, you will look up wherever you're walking and you'll see a lot more. You won't be able to walk around any city, any suburb of any city, without being on CCTV footage. Now, and they will all have the CCTV facial recognition software built in. You will be monitored everywhere you go, and that's why you still have to this day, even though Commissar Dan said that you only have to wear masks in airports, you still, stores like Hungry Jack's and people like that are still insisting on you wearing a mask while you're in the store, and they're still insisting on you signing in so that they can track you. It's not a conspiracy. They said they wanted to track you. They said that's what the app was for. Apparently, to track you for whether you may or may not have been in contact with somebody who's been sick. Really? Now, if you didn't sign up for the app, and say you didn't sign in, if you pay with credit card, and then somewhere someone gets sick with flu, relabeled ConJob-19, if someone gets sick in that restaurant, or is registered as having been sick in that registered, there at the same time as you and whoever else were there, and they've got your record of transaction with your credit card, they trace you through that, and then they order everybody who visited that restaurant that they have records of to get tested. Good old testing. Hand over your DNA voluntarily. Get tested and self-quarantine for 2 weeks. Now, this is what they're doing. Not alleged, not might do, have been doing. All right, so be prepared for the third wave and the media to make the big deal about it and being a new strain and all that sort of stuff, when it is actually only the influenza season we're going to go through, as we will every other year. So I'm saying this now. When you say, oh, you bullshit artist, you're a flaming conspiracy theorist, a nut job, and get a foil hat and drink the Kool-Aid and all that sort of stuff, when you say it now, then when it happens, exactly as I said it would happen, will I get any apologies? I think not, because your sort don't apologise. Anyway, I've had my say. I wanted to say it so that I can say I told you so when it happens. Bye.